Hey, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Let's Talk Autism Sunday Live. Tonight, we are going to have a very special discussion about guardianship, conservatorship, and power of attorney. These young ladies here was so kind to join us on the panel this evening to share their experience with what they which worked best for them. And also we'll give you a little idea of what to expect. And here's Linda. And also give you guys an idea of what to expect. So feel free to chime in and ask questions, and I'm sure they will help because I haven't been through the process yet. I'm here for the information, just like most of you guys. My son just made 17, so um, I'm listening in. We want to know the differences and all of that good stuff. Now, before we get started, please make sure when you come in the room to share the love by clicking that like button and let us know you are here. Make sure you say hello. If you are viewing this from any of the groups, make sure you click on the video if you have a question so you can be in the live chat. Otherwise, I won't see your question till after the fact. So, without further ado, let's introduce everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I am Nita. I am one of the admins of this wonderful establishment. And
Hi,
go ahead,
hi, I'm Linda. I'm the other admin of the group. Welcome.
Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Fulton. I am a parent of a son. He's now 26 with autism. He was diagnosed at 3, and I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm also an advocate, and I have my own business, Parents Connecting Against Autism LLC. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here once again.
Yes, and we are
Hi,
glad to have you. Go ahead,
I'm Dinah Guerrero. Nathaniel is my son, and he's high functioning. I'm a member and a parent and an advocate.
All right. Thank you. So I was putting the link in because we have to have Mr. Charles around. um, so hello everyone. I see you. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. So I guess let's get started. Who wants to share what is the differences? Let's just say in your state. Let's each one of us, because I know it's different in I know California conservatorship is different in from Michigan. Linda, you want to start off?
Yeah, in California, guardianship is only for minors, and conservatorship is what you do for a disabled adult. And it has 7 rights, including who they socialize with, can they get married, their job, their finances, and a few other things. But so we did that. We went through conservatorship, and Emily is fully conserved.
Okay.
And there's also partial conservatorship. So normally you get 5 of the 7 rights. We were able to get all 7 rights, but yeah, you can go in for some of the rights if you want to.
Okay. So um I guess when you were looking into this, you chose what would be best for your situation. You had
Yeah.
like
Um, Yeah, what they did was, so we met with an attorney, and she told us all the rights, and Emily is maybe like the mind of a second grader, maybe. So we knew that all 7 of those rights were going to have to be decided for her. So we went in for all of the rights, and the attorney agreed with that. She said the judge rarely gives all of them, but we were able to get all of them.
oh, wow, that's interesting. Okay. So Dinah, you wanna? After we go
So
around the room, we'll just go in for an overall discussion about it. So,
so
Dinah,
I live in Illinois, and they don't offer conservatorship. So it's either power of attorney or guardianship. So Nathaniel is high functioning. So I couldn't do guardianship per se because that really restricts his rights. And because he's high functioning, there's some things that he can accomplish. He has some independence in some areas, but through the power of attorney, because once they turn 18, HEPA laws kind of play a factor. So he has other diagnoses besides autism. So I needed to make sure that I was able to be in the doctor's office with Nathaniel to discuss his medical issues. And that's what power of attorney does. So I have 3 categories in the power of attorney. One is medical, one is educational, and then the other is financial, but it's partial financial. So medical allows me to be in the office with the doctor, discuss his diagnosis, and have his information, his medical information, testing results, etc. His education is I get to provide all his IEP and modifications to like college or whatever. And here in Illinois, they give you a state testing. It's a formal paper letting them know that you have an IEP and that you have modifications to the testing itself. So SATs or whatever that's there, he has extra time. They separate it into smaller categories, and time restrictions are not applied. So that's for his educational. And then lastly is his financial. So with his financial, Nathaniel can have a bank account. Um, he can, because he's trying to do his small business. I didn't want to restrict him from that. But on his accounts, I can view them, so they're attached to my account because we have the same bank, so I can see where he's spending, give him better advice. And with the guardianship, he would not have any of that. You would have to maintain everything, and so it kind of defeats the purpose of trying to get them to be independent in some way. But if my child were not high functioning, and even though high functioning and not have concepts of understanding, which is why I chose a power of attorney, because he can make some decisions, but he doesn't fully understand legal jargon. So like signing a contract, like buying a home, things like that, he wouldn't understand all of that. So that's where I play a factor. And that's why I chose not to do guardianship. But if he had been a level 2 and above, more restrictions, I would have chose guardianship, because then he wouldn't need that.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
So
the
that's why.
direction I'm headed with DeAndre.
Yes.
Yeah, guardianship. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, Lisa.
Well, listening to everybody, for me, I don't think there was too much of a choice. I am a divorced mom. And so I'm in Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, a power of attorney worked just as well than a guardianship might. My son also is intellectually disabled. So he needs me to make pretty much, everything as far as medical, financial. When he was in school, I did educational. I'm on, I help with Social Security. I'm his payee. All of that has been established, already. The Social Security is me being the payee for that. And anything that he has, all really I had to do was give my doctors, his doctors, anybody within the state, because he has an adult autism waiver, anybody that he was affiliated with accepted the power of attorney here. What I did was filled it out, had it had it notarized, and then I did a kind of like a cover letter indicating all my specifics and where I needed it done through, because I got the power of attorney from my job, actually, from one of the attorneys at my job, because of my situation, because of me being his primary caregiver. I didn't have the capability to have the funds to be able to do a lot of the things that some other people can do. So I went that route, which was the power of attorney, which has worked. I've had it since he was 15 and he's now 26. And I've never had any issues thus far with anything, whether it was Social Security, the Department of State in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Department of Education, nothing. Everybody has always agreed with it and took it on, because it's very expensive here for for a guardianship. A lot of families don't do conservatories here at all. It's either guardianship or power of attorney.
Okay. Now, what is conservatorship to you guys? Is it like similar?
It's similar to guardianship, but it's a lot more stricter, and both of them are extremely expensive here. Okay. So most of the time, power of attorney will do, because of having different laws in different states. And so in Pennsylvania, they require certain things. And if you meet those certain things, a power of attorney will do just fine in what you need for your son or your daughter. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Linda, Miss Charles, I'm going to let you speak 1 second. Linda, can you take over? Because I got to get
out. Okay. Emily's. Yeah. Okay, so how much is the I was going to ask you how much the conservatorship, what was the cost of the two things in Pennsylvania and Illinois for the process?
Well, the one really I looked into more was the guardianship, and that ranged anywhere from $5,000 to $7,500.
Woo.
Yeah, that is yeah. That is expensive. And Dinah? Oh, maybe she stepped off.
Something I can see her. Okay, there she is. She was going through some stuff there.
Did I miss something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was asking what was the cost for your process in Illinois, and if you know the cost of the other processes that you did.
Conservatorship wasn't really offered. It was either the guardianship and power of attorney. And the guardianship here starts off like 2,000. Mm-hmm. And depending on like say for example, I have Nathaniel, right? But I also have 3 other grandkids that I have guardianship for. They're minors, so the guardianship fits, right? Till they hit 18. But for Nathaniel, it would strip him of his rights. So they really said the power of attorney fits better for my needs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and guardianship is pretty expensive here because you have to also go to court for that.
Yeah, you do. You have to go to court here. And then you have to go, I think, every couple years to do something. I don't know, to recertify it or something. Wow.
And that's the same in California. Again, ours is conservatorship. You have to go to court. I hear you can do it yourself, but we hired an attorney and it was right about $3,000. And we opted for the attorney. But yeah, it has to go to court. There's an investigator. She gets the public defender. Then there's interviews with some of the caseworkers where she already has case work. And then they suggest or recommend what they believe should happen with her. And then they do a check-in, I believe, every year, starting, I think January. I think they'll be here every year.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I went to an attorney too for the power of attorney. So because I wanted to make sure that I put in everything that I needed for Nathaniel. And I do have a secondary person, because I'm up in age, so I have to make sure. I may do an alternative if something happens where I think, okay, I think I need to do guardianship for him so that someone else take care of him. But we're really looking at his independence to feel that. So my oldest daughter is on his he's on a power of attorney as a secondary to help him with those. I also wanted to say with the power of attorney for Nathaniel, like I have a 401k, he's my beneficiary, so he's still able to be a beneficiary, to get whatever I have at the end, or however it may be. But guardianship, they don't allow the child to inherit.
And
Yeah.
what do you mean?
There's a lot of restrictions on guardianships in some states.
Right.
You can't. They can't. They can't inherit properties, or
Right.
like my son has. I have a team of people that will be his guardians if something were to happen to me and his father, although we're not together.
Okay.
He would go to his dad, and then if something happened to his dad, he would then go to that specific person. But I have a team of people that are willing to step in to help. So even if, say, for instance, they wanted to move in here, my place, it couldn't be in their name, so it would have to be in his name, and he can't do that in
Right.
guardianship.
Right.
Wow.
So, Nita, what I was saying, Nathaniel with the power of attorney can be a beneficiary, so he can inherit a percentage of my 401k or my life insurance, or my home, to have him as a equal owner. So under the power of attorney, he can do that. That's why I said I have partial financial for him, and the other half is giving him that ability to have some control.
But
So
he wouldn't be able to. Would he be able to sign
well,
something?
I did it like that because I wanted, say for example, something happens to me, I wanted Nathaniel to have a place of home always.
Okay.
Like he would never have to worry about going to a placement. So the home is for him, and of course the secondary person would be able to help him maintain, like put it into account. So hopefully by then, I won't have a mortgage and everything else, and it'll be scot-free for him, right? And just real estate tax. So I would try to open up a fund that would carry those benefits for him. But I did it because, in the event something happens, I wanted him to have a home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is too, with somebody like your son, you also hope that as he gets older, he'll become more able to handle independence.
Right.
I mean, I speak as a retiree with autism who's handled independence throughout my adult life. So, many of us can.
Now, my son won't ever be able to do that. That's why I have his caregiver, who is a good close friend of our family's. She and her husband has offered to step in, and then my 3 goddaughters and my cousin has offered to help. So it's like 5 women who will take turns. Maybe he'll be with one full time, the other one on every other weekend, or every weekend he'll go away to somebody else's house in the summer, on holidays. So they're learning the process now, so that they can get ready for whatever. Because he won't be able to have. Now I do have those things in writing for him, but he won't be able to sign off on or have a house or anything like that. He can't.
Yeah. And that's
Now,
the thing. You know your son best.
Yeah. I wanted to say something. I know you guys were talking about the cost. And if anyone's here from Michigan, can correct me if I am wrong. But I was offered help doing the guardianship. And actually, they have been putting this paperwork in my face since before school got off. The school system, as well as his support coordinator. Now, the support coordinator told me they would help me through it. It would be no charge. I guess some kind of waiver. So maybe that's something everyone can look into if your child has a support coordinator. And I also know Pam. She's not on tonight. Ralph wasn't feeling well. If I remember correctly, she received some kind of waiver or a pro bono.
Mhm.
Is that right, Linda? I think
I
she on
can't,
here.
yeah, I can't remember, but I also know that a SSI recipient, they get, there's a part of it, the process that they cannot charge for.
Ah, okay. So just make sure you guys, if you're worried about expense, ask the schools about waivers, or if your child is in any kind of services like OT, speech, and has a support coordinator, make sure you ask them. But I know as soon as he turned 17, or right before this year, they gave me a pack of papers and told me to just look over it, study it, and
Well, that's
you know,
nice that they did that. They didn't do that here at all. At all.
and they're gonna walk. And actually, I'm going to be starting. I think week after next, I'll be seeing the psychologist. Now, what the psychologist is going to do is walk me through everything that's on the paper. I'm like being coached, making
Okay.
sure, you know,
Mhm.
all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So I'll come back with that information and see how it is. But yeah, it was offered.
That's awesome.
No,
Mhm.
like if a parent is unsure of where they think is or what they think is best for their child, the easiest option, like say you're running out of time, you're 17, you're going to turn 18, and you need something, a power of attorney is probably the most easiest thing to do to kind of get that information. And then that doesn't prevent you from being able to get guardianship. It does, however, help you if you're caught like in no time your child's going to be 18 and you still need to be there for their IEPs for school or medical or something. This is like a quickest option. In my opinion, that would be like a quick option.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Lisa, you said you started your power of attorney at 16.
He was
Was that
16.
required?
I see a question up here that's kind of
Okay.
situation. Yeah, I started it at 15 because in Pennsylvania, because at transition age is 14 here. So
Mhm.
a lot of the times you need access to anything at transition age. It really didn't make sense. Like I needed his verbal authorization at 14, but I needed his signature or to take over to make decisions by 18. And it was just too much. So I just went ahead and got the power of attorney. And the reason is she's saying, how do you know they need it? Well, they do, as far as doctors are concerned. You want to make sure to at least have a power of attorney so that you can help at least deal with any questions, medical issues, helping your child make a decision. You don't necessarily have to use it, but it's always good to have because what if they're high functioning and they make a wrong choice or something happens where they get overwhelmed with something and they don't know what to do. It's always good to have it, just to have it so that you can step in when you need to, because if you don't, at 18, you're not going to have any right at all. So it's always best to at least have a power attorney to at least be able to help guide them if they're high functioning, or step in when you need to, or at least be able to talk to someone. Because if you don't have it, you can't even talk to that doctor. You can't even talk to that teacher. You can't even talk to Social Security. You at least have it so that you can step in and help navigate what they need help with whenever they need it. And if they don't need it, that's wonderful, but at least you'll have it anyway. And because I have a lot of parents that call me in the middle of the night and just, one person, her daughter ran away and she was 20, and they said, well, do you have a power of attorney? Do you have anything? And she said, no. And they said, well, there's nothing you can do about it. At this
Wow.
point, there's nothing you could do, nothing you can say. And that's the scary part, because you know your child and you know what they're capable of doing. You're the best advocate. But if you don't have a right, then they're on their own at that point, and you don't want that ever to be the case.
I think that's what scares me.
Mm-hmm.
I always get scared of a situation where DeAndre is 18, and even his doctor said, make sure you have something in place, because once he turns 18, there's nothing you can say.
Right.
They'll ask him, and whatever he says goes. And I'm like,
Whatever he says
you
goes.
won't even know, but he'll probably say yeah to anything.
Exactly.
Well, that was my same problem with Nathaniel.
Mm-hmm.
He'd convince the doctor, with his spine issue to make him the bionic man, things like that. So he, the same thing with medications. I was like, no, I don't want him on painkillers and stuff. Well, let's find a different, route to that. So for them, their mind is still kid-like. They're not looking at their best interest. They're looking at what's easiest always, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as I got my poppers, I carry it in my purse at all times, because you never know.
Me too. I have one in my car, one in my purse.
I know. For emergencies. I mean,
You
if
have
he gets,
to.
falls off on the curb or something, ends up in the emergency room, I need to be able to get there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you have to pull it out so they can see
Yes.
that you have the authorization to make a decision for them. They can't say, if you ask my son, oh, what can we treat you? My son just won't look at him like, I don't
Right.
know what you're talking about.
So,
Right,
Nita,
whatever.
for you, if you decide to get the guardianship, make a copy and give it to the medical facility that your son is being taken care of, like his psychiatrist, whoever he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that you can walk in with him, so you can discuss it. So as soon as you get it, share the love, send it everywhere.
Yeah.
I sure
But
do.
always keep an original safe. And
Uh-huh.
make as many copies as you need.
Can. Yep.
And
Okay.
always carry a copy with you in your purse. That's
Mm-hmm.
why my purse is like this big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, really,
Is it a
because you
stack
never
of
know
papers
in
or
case of
just
an
No,
emergency.
it's just a copy, and I
Oh,
gave all his doctors a copy of it, but I still
Mhm.
take it just in case they can't find it, or they
Right.
file it, or they say they don't. I'm always ready. I
Mhm.
stay ready. I
Right.
stay ready, so I don't have
right?
to get ready.
Right. There you go. There you
Mhm.
go. Now, is there any other questions in the chat? Chime on in. And if you are in the groups, if you are watching this from any of the groups, make sure, because we are on the main page, make sure you click on the video so you can come into the live chat. Because if you post in the group, we won't see it until after the fact. But if you click on the video, you will be right here in the live chat with us. Okay, Elizabeth says, I have a son in a group home. I have noticed bruises on him. I asked for them to put cameras, but they said I can't. Is he over 18, Elizabeth? Is that a situation with cameras? I'm wondering, do you have to have power of attorney?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As an advocate, once they go into a facility or anything like that, you're basically giving them full range to do what they want. And it's so hard to get them out once they go in, because the state then takes over. Wherever state that you're at, they then take over, right? And HIPAA laws, because there's other people that are around. They can't show them. Even with the power of attorney, I have a person I'm helping now in State College near Penn State, and his son has been in a facility. He's 20 since last June, and we still have not gotten him out yet. So it can it can take a while to get them out. You can report it, but guess what? They all work together. A state is a state.
Really?
Once you get them on in Pennsylvania anyway, it's on a county level when they're school age, and then once they graduate or post secondary, it becomes a state level. The state is the state. There's so much red tape that you'll have to go through in order to do it. I mean, it can be done, but again, like I said, I'm still Yeah, this case I'm working on is really crazy, but and he has a guardianship. This
Linda,
gentleman.
Linda, can you take over? I gotta answer this.
Yeah. See, basically, you've got a case of foxes guarding the hen house, essentially.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yeah. It's real. It's real, and they're not going to put any cameras around there. They're not going to do anything unless you just find a way to take him out.
Uh, I'm not sure. Michelle, so you asked, my question is, how do you know if they need it with high functioning kiddos, and at what age do you make the decision? Um, I'm not sure about the others, but well, I kind of knew by the level, but I would think with high functioning, you may start to realize around 15, maybe 15, 16,
Mhm.
um, what he's able to and not able to reasonably decide.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I'll say something because Nathaniel's high functioning, and um, you begin to know once they hit like high school, just the beginning of high school,
Mhm.
depending on, like for him, he had anxiety and he had other things that were bothering him. And I know the social skill was very high, but he had other, things that were going on that helped me realize, okay, there's some independence, like being able to, he can cook light meals, he can do his laundry, he can prepare himself for school, he can, academic wise, he was there, just socially very um, outside of that. So by the time he was 16, the school starts giving you these paperwork on independence and where you want to be, and you start talking about your future. And just by his answering, I realized, okay, he does have some independent qualities. And that's what made me do the power of attorney because, he started to venture off, these obsessions became moneymakers for him, coin collecting, buying and selling and doing these things. So I said, okay, there is a level of independence. He can stay in the house, take care of himself. I don't need to be here 24/7 with him. Um, and because he's a rule regulator, like if I tell him don't do something, he's a rule regulator. So he more or less sticks to, following the rules.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
by the time 16 and 17 came around and they started to talk to me about the transitional stage, um, I knew that he still needed someone to advocate for him because he's a people pleaser and he would say yes to everything and no to everything, and then he would not have an IEP anymore.
Mhm.
So even though they're high functioning academic wise, they can do things. There are things that on a social level, they can't comprehend it as much. So I would recommend start making that decision um, like at 17 so that by 18, you're not going, oh my gosh, I can't go into the doctor's office. I can't do all these things because of the HEPA law. So you want to be able to still give your child the ability to have some independence if you feel that they have that.
Okay. So Elizabeth is saying her son is aggressive. I guess that's the reason for the cameras. But I
Yeah.
guess, like you guys were saying, HIPAA laws would prevent
Well, I
that.
think she's saying because she has to be placed because of that. She's a widow and she has to work, and he's aggressive. So I get it. I understand. Whatever you have to do, you have to do. But it's unfortunate that once you go in there, the state require or advises you on what you can and can't do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and making the decision, it's a tough thing. I think that power of attorney though is a good thing because it's something you can choose to exercise to whatever degree you want to exercise it. So that may be a good thing with high functioning because I know with me, when I entered my senior year of high school, my parents were really concerned about my ability to handle independence. Now, at that time, very little was known about autism. They didn't have a diagnosis to go by or anything, but they knew there was something different about me, and they had doubts about my ability to handle independence. So my mom and I made weekly visits to two psychologists, and they helped me to prepare for college life. And so, with that, I was able to handle college life. But
Okay. So Jessica has a good question. Hello, we are from Pennsylvania. Our daughter is turning 18 in November. We are getting power of attorney over her tomorrow. If we were to move to another state in the future, say Virginia, would we have to complete that process again in that state? Can you ladies help?
So I know Jessica. Hi, Jessica. She is actually one of my
Jessica.
clients. She is one of my clients.
Oh, okay.
So, and I know we've talked about this not in detail. So I guess they've been having a more bit of a conversation lately about it.
Okay.
So, um, you can keep the power of attorney that you have from Pennsylvania. It doesn't necessarily matter where you get the power of attorney from. I think it's more processed like for guardianships or conservatories or something like that. But power of attorneys, you pretty much can keep what you have already. Now, you would need to speak to somebody from DHS or from the state level in Virginia, but usually the DMV area is usually the same that it is in Pennsylvania. I've dealt with several families in the DMV area, and our laws are similar from education on to post-secondary. So it's pretty much the same. You need the same kinds of things in order to get the services that you need. So Virginia is not too bad at all. You could probably just show them what you have, and if they require you to get something different at that time, you may have to. But so far, from people that I've helped in the past, the power of attorney was sufficient.
Dinah, you know anything if you were to move from Illinois?
I
Would
would
you
think the same. The power of attorney can kind of walk with you where you go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I've not had the experience of wanting to move anywhere else.
Oh,
I really haven't thought about it, but I would think that it would. A guardianship, I think you would have to get
Yeah.
I guess reinstated in the state you're going to,
Mhm.
because
Through the court.
there's
Yeah.
a difference. Right, it's a court issued one for one, and there might be a difference state to state on what they consider like things under guardianship.
Mhm.
okay. Linda, so I know with your conservatorship, if you go to another state, you probably more than likely have to switch your conservatorship.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you will have to switch. But before that, you don't even have permission to move them out of the state. You
Oh,
have to
wow.
petition. Yeah, you have to petition with the court to, there's a petition to file to get permission to fix a residence outside of California.
Wow.
Wow. Is it because you got all seven, or it just doesn't matter?
I think it doesn't matter because when we petitioned for this in court to be the conservator, um, they it was really out of our hands. Like we said this was best. The others had to agree with it that it was best, but they didn't. Okay, so they agreed with it that it was best, but they did not have to. If they felt that she would be better somewhere else, that would have been the answer. Because when she turned 18, she kind of became the responsibility of the state.
Mm.
So that's why people are checking in and they're making sure that, she has everything that she needs, that she's in a good place. So they have, so we have the decisions every day, day to day, and everything because we have the conservatorship.
Okay.
Other than that, if they take away the grant, if they take away the conservatorship, they have more power than us to be able to do that. So, like I said, we make most of the decisions because we have that power. But yeah, it's a scary thing because once you introduce it to the court to petition for it, it's in the court's hands,
Mhm.
to decide.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
does Emily have a
What is that?
guardian ad litem?
So the guardian item usually I thought was for kids under the age of 18.
Well, wouldn't it be like the reason for the conservatorship is because she's still considered like an adult, but with the capacity of a child?
Yeah, so the only thing that's different, okay, so it's called conservatorship, which I hear normally has to do with money.
Oh,
But conservatorship in California has nothing to do with money. So the powers, so it has it has seven powers. I get to choose the residence, a specific dwelling, conservatives, confidential records and papers I have access to, consent or withhold consent to getting married or who choose to marry, exercise the conservative's right to enter into a contract, give or withhold medical consent on behalf of the conservative, exercise and limit the conservative's right to control social and sexual contacts and relationships. And number seven is make decisions about the conservative's education. So that covers this whole scope. If she was to own property or a large amount of money, then I would go in on a financial end of things. But because she's SSI recipient, it SSI just wants a payee. It doesn't need the conservatorship. So yeah, so that's exactly how we did that. But so on the conservator, I think this might be what Dinah's talking about. There's three conservators on there. There's myself, Steve, her dad, and then Adriana, her oldest sister. So three of us all have equal powers in conserving her right now.
Okay.
So the guardian ad litem, I think that what she was talking about is usually given by the court to determine what's best for a child or person.
Yeah, so what happened during the court, the judge, so the investigator came in, the public defender is the one who kind of, if there was a problem, they put in their recommendation on what they found with the investigator and the caseworkers and what their recommendation is. I
Okay.
guess if their recommendation was against us conserving her, then I think that's when that would come into play.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and I didn't know anything about this until a few years ago on Let's Talk Autism. And then I thought, oh my God, and then I stressed until we got it. And you know, it's a scary thing
Mm-hmm.
because your child's an adult, but your child is still a child, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get to make the final decision. And it's scary. You take it to the court, but you almost don't want to take it to the court because you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I was scared to do it. And thank God I haven't had an issue with the power of
Yeah.
attorney. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle wants to know the difference between power of attorney and medical proxy. Anyone know?
I'm not sure the actual specifics, but because I did the power of attorney, I actually got everything, including checking, with the financial, medical, educational, any decision makings and being payees on his account. Because in Pennsylvania, you have to be on the account with your child, and it can't be any more than $2,000 in that account per month.
Okay.
So the power of attorney gives you a little bit more leeway than just the medical proxy, because the medical proxy, you can only make the medical decisions. Let's say they're unconscious and you have to decide, do you want to continue on with the medical, treatment or not? You can make that, and that's just limited to that only. Where a power of attorney, you can get other things included, like the financial piece, like the decision making on, waivers, because I'm basically the person that they deal with his adult autism waiver. The people coming in, I get to decide if that's a good fit for him. He has a behavioral specialist, he has a skill building coach, and he has a community support person. So I get to decide who can work for him, who can't. I get to sign the individual support plan. for the actual agency. So I get to do all of those things for him on behalf of him. Where medical proxy is just your medical and, doctor visits and hospital visits. And I don't even know if it's medication wise, but you get to at least make those medical decisions should he need that.
Yeah, I think the medical proxy is limited than a power of attorney, because I really think it's more related to medical more than it is behavioral. And also, it really is more used like in emergencies, life and death kind of issues. Maybe the doctor, but it doesn't give you all access to medical files or labs or anything else that might be a part of medical, how we would see medical, right?
Right. Yeah, I do everything. Like we can do labs, we can do just about anything with their power of attorney. I just give it to them, and they don't even ask me anymore. They just no, they don't even ask anymore.
Well, I had to use my power of attorney to be able to get him. You know how they do the wellness thing where you go online and you can look at your labs and everything.
The portal.
I needed my power of attorney to get him changed so that he's underneath me to be able to view it, instead of, there's different areas that you have to go to get the information. I just wanted to be able to get all of his information on one. Yeah. But that's for everything. That's for the psychiatrist. That's for medication management. That's for every doctor that he has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer, thank you for the stars. And I'd like to let you all know, if you'd like to support our community, you can do so by sending us some stars. Thank you, Jennifer. That's appreciated. Thank you for the information. It just breaks my heart when I see him. I get him every weekend when I don't work. Okay.
Yeah.
It has to be hard.
Yeah.
It really has to be a hard decision. Definitely praying for him, and that hopefully, I would say to her, maybe you can go speak to somebody high up. Maybe you can go speak to the director of the facility, or Google who owns that particular home, and try to go that way as far as advocating on his behalf. They might not be able to put that camera in there, but there's definitely some things that you can put in place. I know as they get older, they have the ISP, the individual support plan, and that should be whether they're at home, where my son receives home services, versus in a facility. But everybody, once they're over the age of 21, gets a individual support plan. That's just federal law. So maybe speak to them about his plan and put some things in place. Put some SDIs in space. They still have special design instructions in those things, in those treatment plans for your children there. And this might give you an opportunity to speak to them one-on-one, to see what's going on, or take them to the doctor. Maybe have the doctor say what they found, the bruises or something. So it's just not you, even though you are the main person, his parent, but it's still somebody else who's witnessed what has occurred. So that might be something you could do. Call his doctor, take him to the doctor, let them document it, and let them know what you're doing, so that they can be a little bit more mindful as to how they treat him.
Jennifer says, very important to get legal documents, POA, etc., for banking means as well. Hi, Mike. Mike says, my son is 19 and high functioning. He finished his schooling with a certificate that doesn't amount to a GED in Florida. He is still very immature. What steps do I need to take to get POA, and should he qualify for Social Security or something else?
Wow.
You guys,
right? So I think I would start with your county Department of Human Services first, to kind of take you through, because I'm in Pennsylvania, but definitely apply for Social Security. I mean, if he's 19, he's eligible by law for Social. He was eligible at 18. So you definitely want to apply for Social Security. It doesn't matter what you make because now at 18, he's already an adult. Um, and then power of attorney is just, you could call any attorney for that. It's not a hard thing to get. You just need to include what you want as a part of it, and then it has to be notarized. So depending on what you think you need to put, for the power of attorney, whether it's to go over his banking or to um, help him with medical decisions, you could do that. But I definitely would start at with your local DHS. They could possibly um, give you somebody, or if you have I don't know, Autism Society in Florida, they might have an idea as to how to help you through that process in that state. That's the crazy part with all of this stuff that we go through, guys. States are different. We were talking about that earlier. You have federal law, which is the same no matter what in this country. But then you have state law, and then you have local law. And that's where it becomes really hard, and it stresses parents out because things can change based on where you live.
Yes. Jennifer, I want to invite you on up. I see you are sharing some information in your website. We don't share websites in the chat area, but you are free to come up on the platform and share what you have going on. I see you have some helpful information. I can put the link in, and I'll put the link in the chat, and come on up. You are more than welcome, and you can share what you do and your information. Thank you. I was all over schooling with his IEP, but I feel lost. We never applied for anything benefit wise. Hi, Carol. Mike Orapello. Oh my, it is overwhelming and a lot to tackle, but worth the steps. Feel free to reach out if you need anything further, Social Security wise. Come on up, Jennifer.
I know.
Right. You have all this knowledge. Come on up and share with us. I got her approved at a young age, but will have to reapply at 18 if her abilities are limited. Okay. So off topic, so to speak. How do you get an autism waiver?
State to state, it really depends on what you have. And in Pennsylvania, there's 15,000 people on the waiting list. I have to say, I'm really active in the community, and I set myself up so that I could help navigate his life eventually on several boards. So I guess you could say that I got in there. So what happens is, once they get to be a certain age here in Pennsylvania, I believe it's 16, they can be put on what they're called a PUNS list. And that's through the Department of Human Services. And so they get on the list, and at 21, they then start looking like between 21 and 22 to see what waivers are available. There's 3 specific waivers here in Pennsylvania that I was being looked at for. And it was helpful because he was not only autistic, but intellectually disabled as well. So I got the autism waiver. I got looked at for ACAP, which is one that is pretty much them taking over. And then the consolidated waiver, which was more so no cap. Some of them have financial cap, some of them don't. So in other words, I told them to put me on all of them, and they told me whatever one I get first, take it, because then that's my way in to get the waiver. But I don't know that every state has it. You would have to check with your local Department of Human Services to see exactly where you should go or how to move at that particular time.
Yeah, say I'm going to have to leave here. Just everybody have a good week. I've got
thank you, Mr. Charles.
Tomorrow morning.
Bye,
All right.
All right.
All right. Good
Hi,
night,
Charles.
Yeah, we're going overtime. We're gonna wrap it up in a minute. But hi, Jennifer.
Hi,
How
everyone. I wasn't expecting to join, but I saw the link and somehow started the video. So, hi.
often? Yeah, we don't allow, promoting while we're on chat.
Yeah,
So we'd rather
sure.
you come on up and show face and tell us. I
Yeah.
see we're helping Mike there. So
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate. I started a webpage a couple of years ago. I do as much as I can on it. I'm a single mama to three kids, but two are adults and out of the house. And then my surprise 10-year-old,
okay.
who's on the autism spectrum. She's non-verbal for the most part, and there's been lots of challenges. And I worked in banking a long time, and I was in the Chamber of Commerce, and I ran my United Way campaign in my county. I'm one
Okay.
of those, give me a problem, I'm going to fix it. So I'm taking what knowledge I can. So it's nice to listen to you guys. And
Yeah.
every state is so different, and it's so frustrating. One of my biggest hopes is that we can get as many voices together at this point and talk about trying to get. We talked about how you can move from one state to another and you lose or have to reapply and start over on whole new services and help. And it's really difficult. And then you get delayed and relapse and progression. And I just think there's so much that needs to be fixed, and
Yes.
I'm trying to fight it. So my webpage is Jenica's Brain at jenicas.com.
Okay.
And really, I just focus on resources, links, information. There's a little bit of story on how we started and why, but it's
Okay.
not about money or.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, maybe we all need to go and get on. I have a end to get on Capitol Hill. Maybe we should all go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just it can be well, Washington State, I'm shocked. I was an Uber driver for a while. I had to have a flexible schedule. I just stopped this last year because I became a licensed caregiver because I have parents that need help. And they don't have caregivers, and my caregivers quit. I've been through three the
Oh
last.
no.
Yeah, it's fine. I've learned a lot and going through the training. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
They train nothing, you guys. Guess what? 1,100 pages out of the entire training through Washington State Caregiving Program, paid through the state. 1,100 pages, 1.5 pages covers autism and Down syndrome.
Wow. That's
Wow.
They're
Out of
teaching
11.
elderly care. They're paying my caregiver, who's working with my 10-year-old nonverbal, amazing, super loving child, elderly care, which is fine, but and then us parents are having to turn around and train them. So that's one of my big advocates right now. It needs fixed.
Mhm.
And I know who we need to write to fix it, but I don't know if that's an option for you guys. Like every state doesn't even have training or
Yeah.
options through care. Like this is through DDA, Developmental Disability Administration.
right.
And
We have to too. Yeah.
yeah, so does every state have that DDA?
I don't know. We have to get 24 hours of training every year.
Yeah, there's still 12 hours a year on top of the 70 hours of initial training,
Yeah.
plus the testing.
Yeah, we
Okay,
got to do
ladies, I'm
testing.
gonna have to cut this. We are running out of time here. DeAndre just walked in, so I'm gonna give each of you a chance to say bye, and you can share your information. Dinah, please share Nathaniel's information, and I'll put it in the chat area. So we're gonna start with Dinah. Any last words of encouragement?
I guess the best advice is don't wait till the last minute. Try to get information like 16, 17 before they hit 18 so you're not caught off guard.
Yeah.
That's my best advice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is Nathaniel's website? Share a little bit, real quick, real brief.
Nathaniel is my son, and he high functioning autism has a web page, hammered_treasures, where he does buying and selling, like auctioning Pokemon cards and things of that nature.
What platform is that on? Hammer?
He's on Whatnot, eBay, one more, but those are the two that he's normally on. So Whatnot, that's the site name, Whatnot.
Tell him great job. I'm a fellow flipper.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, and Lisa, I know you have a business.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's called Parents Connecting Against Autism, LLC. So I advocate for our kiddos' educational rights with IEPs, 504s. They don't necessarily be on the autism spectrum. As long as they have an IEP, I'll do that. Evaluations, whatever, in the school setting. And recently, of course, with adults, helping with the process to get waivers, help with the POAs and that kind of thing. So, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. So you should be able to find me under Lisa R. Fulton.
What is your website? Do you have a website?
I don't. Well, it's getting fixed now, but
okay.
I will have it. But I still have the Facebook page, Parents Connecting Against Autism.
Okay, so you guys look for Lisa, parents. Let me see if I can pull up the web page. In the meantime, while I'm looking this up, Jennifer.
Uh-oh, I think she's
Parents
frozen. Parents Connecting Against Autism. I haven't been on there for a while, but either way, I have to redo that too. You should be able to find it.
Yeah, I am.
Hi, can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
PCAAT? Is that you?
That's
okay.
it.
Oh, there I am. Hi, guys. Sorry.
Okay. Share a little bit briefly and quickly about your business, and I'll put your link in the chat. And how can we find you and get in touch with you?
So if you want to check out my jewelry, I do have some autism pieces. I'm really stopping my jewelry making because I can't do a million things. But Jenikkas, JENIKKAS. And then the same for the webpage, jenikkas.com. Or Jenikkas Brain.
Spell that again.
JENIKKAS.
AS.com.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to spread the word. And I got ill 7 years ago, and life has been a challenge. So I try to use my time as much and help whoever I can.
All right. Now, our next discussion, you guys, before we take off, we're going to put together a panel for Social Security and do a discussion about that. I know someone in the chat was talking about a trust. Mm-hmm. So we'll put all that together on a panel and talk about the trust and SSI and SSDI, the differences. Mm-hmm. And I hope to see you guys back here next week. Linda, do you have any last words?
Same thing. Don't wait till the last minute to get the to prepare for when they turn 18. The thing that I did was, because it seemed so confusing, the more that I learned about it, the less afraid I became. So just, you have all the time to learn about it, figure out how it goes, start now. You can look into that now. And then, just ahead of time. Do not wait till the last minute.
Yeah, don't wait till that last minute. Michelle says, weekly reminder, take care of your needs. You are strong enough. You are doing the thing. You are loved. You are beautiful. You are worth it. Love you all and hope you have a wonderful week. Keep up the good work. You got this. Thank you for that, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
You guys, make sure you go like these pages. Check out Nathaniel on eBay. And I hope I said that right. Whatnot. And Lisa on Parents Connecting Against Autism. And Jennifer at jenikkas.com. And until next time, I appreciate you all. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you again next week. Same
Okay,
time.
guys. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.